Hi and welcome to this, the second work in progress video for July 2010. Today we'll be looking at refining the mesh by separating parts off of the main body and focusing in on them and detailing them. We'll begin by detailing the pants, and we'll also commence the refining of the boots. Alright, so we're back in the model, and look, I've taken the liberty to just refine a few of the details. Nothing much has changed, except I've just sort of spent about 2 or 3 hours pushing and pulling some vertices and stuff like that. I'll just give you a quick rundown of what I've done. I've just added a couple of extra lines around here and further defined some of the muscle structure for this character. That's generally the only thing that I've really done. A little bit of extra information around here, and I just redid the foot. Some of the edge loops weren't working. They were sort of looping about 4 times around the toe. That wasn't really working. So I've just gone and just added a little extra detail. Nothing that is beyond the scope of basic modeling. It's just time consuming. The hands are just on another layer, but we'll be getting to them in a little while. The first thing we're going to do is separate off parts of this mesh so that we can begin to work on detail for the boots and the pants. So going into edit mode, you'll see that I've still got my mirror modifier on. With our knife tool, shortcut key K, loop cut a line around about the waist here. I'm going to go into my vertex select mode by hitting Control Tab, vertices. I'm going to scale that in the Z direction just so that I get more of a consistent line. I'm going to grab that and just move that there. And now with my box select tool, I'm going to hit the B key. You'll see that 2 lines corresponding to the X and Y axis come up, or in this case the X and Z axis. If I hit B again, it turns into a circle, which I can increase or decrease with my middle mouse scroll. And I'm going to select, I'm going to deselect out of that for a second, B, going to select all of these vertices. I'm going to hit the P key, and I'm going to hit Separate Selected. This will now make the pants a separate mesh from the torso. I'm going to do one further thing, and that is tab out of edit mode for the torso, select the pants, tab into edit mode again, deselect with A, and look around this knee area. Side view might be the better view to look at. And going to decide where I want the boot to start. Now, I've got some sort of, I remember the artwork had some sort of a knee strap or something like that, and so that might be a good idea. I might start at this particular point over here, zoom out a little bit, B, select, and separate all of these vertices for the boot. Now, the reason I've separated them out is that characters can be segmented. They don't always have to be of the same mesh. What this allows us to do is to go in and edit separate things, adding detail with never necessarily worrying about the edge loops running up the rest of the mesh, thereby further complicating parts of the mesh that don't really need that extra complication. So we'll start with the pants here because they're really easy. We're just going to be doing a couple of details on the outside of the thigh and the inside of the thigh. Going into edit mode, hitting my tab key, I'm going to hit Control Tab and go into face select mode. With my selection tool, B, I'm going to scroll that down. I'm going to select a number of these faces, and I'm going to check my work in side view. Yeah, they're looking a little bit wonky around here, so I'm going to go into vertex select mode and just sort of neaten this up a little bit, because the last thing I really want is for this bit to look wonky, I guess. So I'm just going to neaten up the outline of this particular detail. Might have to neaten up some of these lines. Might have to put in some extra information later on here. This one can go out, this one can go in a little. So we've got a nice patch there, which when we go into face select mode again and we select our faces in front view, just so that we can select a bunch of them, that looks like a better patch. Now you can watch both views. I'll zoom in on the side view here, and I'll zoom in on the front view here so you can actually see. It might give ourselves a little bit more room here on these views. I'm going to hit extrude, region, and you'll see that line is actually the average of all the normals for those faces. And so when I move that down into the thigh, I'm going to get a fairly good level of detail around the edge of that extrusion. I'm going to hit extrude one more time, region, but this time I'm going to click to get rid of that normal line. Going to hit S to scale, and I'm going to scale that down a little bit. Doesn't really matter how much, just to give us enough scope. Maybe scale it just a tad up a little bit. Extrude again, region, leaving the normal line this time and just pushing it out a little bit until the padding kind of corresponds with the line. Doesn't have to exactly. So if I tab out, you'll see that already we've got a nice little patch detail there. I'm quite fond of this sort of detailing. I'm going to do the same on the inner thigh. First of all, selecting one of those and then selecting these. I'm going to just take a look at this. I might, like we did in the last tutorial, in the mirror modifier, deselect enable mode during edit mode so that I can actually see the inside of the thigh. I'm going to hit Control numpad 3, and that will give us the reverse side of the side view. Zooming in on the front here, I think I'm going to have to go into vertex select mode and just neaten up those vertices again. Just so we get a nice even patch. Okay, so let's see how this looks in front view. Go to faces. Let's go here to this side view over here, Control numpad 3. And yeah, look, I think this one is a little high, so we might just move this one down a little bit. In front view, this might require a little bit of extra help. Control tab. Okay, that's looking a little better. So in front view, extrude region along the normals, just in a little bit. Extrude region, click, scale, S key, scale in a little bit. Extrude region, and out again. And there we've got this nice little sort of padding detailing on the inside and outside of the thigh. Go back into side view here. And that's about all I really need to do for the pants right now. I do need to sort of have them come in at the waist. So the last thing I'm going to do is go back into edit mode, go into vertex select mode here for a second. Might re-enable mirror in edit mode. Scale this out a little bit. Scale it maybe in the Y direction a little bit. Smooth this by going to my mesh tools and then grab that in the Z direction, maybe rotate it a little bit so it's a little flatter. Maybe scale it in the Z until it's absolutely level. That could work, although I don't quite think pants go that way. So I'm going to rotate them in the Y a little bit. The point is just to get them a little away from the waist and up a little bit more. Now I'm going to extrude those, only edges, scale, S key, and scale them in so they intersect with the torso mesh. I'm going to hit my numpad 8 to take a good look over here. And now I can just sort of tweak the vertices of these pants. If I go out of edit mode, you actually see that there's an intersecting line now which means that these pants now look like it looks like he's wearing these pants. This is sort of the way to go for I don't know, uniforms that are kind of skin tight for characters or that sort of thing. I might do one more thing, and that is edge select. So I'm going to select this edge. Control E brings up my edge specials menu. Edge loop select will select that edge. N key to bring up my properties floating window. And I'm going to change the median increase a little, crease a little bit, and see how that looks. Okay, it doesn't look great over this side, so what I might do is I might go with my knife key, add a little extra detail, and now what we've got is a nice crease on the pants there. We'll worry about how it intersects with this torso mesh in a little while, but in front view, now we've got what looks more like a pair of pants on the character. So now let's move on to the boots. That's this section over here, which we've already separated off from the thigh. I'll leave them in the same layer for now, just so that we can see where we can get some intersecting lines automatically in edge mode. And the first thing I'm going to do is select my edge, Control E, edge loop select, and scale up slightly. I might sort of bring this down a little bit and rotate it, because we want a sort of a knee looking thing. Okay, I'm going to extrude that edge up a little bit, scale that in, extrude again, and scale this in so we get a nice intersecting line. Might work in two views as usual, instead of trying to... There we go, that's better. Now, this knee part, there's going to be a lot of bending here, and this is probably a really good chance to go in and move around some of these loops so that we know that when we get to the point of rigging that we've got the required information there to help with the deformations. So I'm going to bump that out there. This is sort of like a mini version of what I spent, what I did on the torso, which is basically just grabbing vertices, moving them around, smoothing vertices, all that sort of stuff. It takes ages, and it's sort of why I don't really include it in these tutorials. That sort of stuff is stuff that you should really try to tackle on your own. Make your mistakes. I would hate for you to download hours and hours and hours of just watching me move vertices around and swear and cuss and yeah, get frustrated at all the things that go wrong as you're moving things around. But yeah, this part is pretty easy. Okay, so that's looking quite nice. I always like very exaggerated features, so I've got a very exaggerated knee here, and then the shin coming down here. Might sort of move these back a little bit. Now, of course, in the interest of getting the edge loops right, especially around the foot, we might start grabbing some of these and getting some sort of an ankle form in there. That will probably be thinner. We'll rotate it towards there. I think that should be in like that. Might throw on my proportional fall off tool, grabbing that and getting a bunch of them together. You can see that the tools that I use are pretty much repeatable. And this is one of the great strengths of Blender. Like, the shortcut keys are the same for, you just have to hit one key and you've got the tool up and running. Now, what's that looking like? Ah, yeah, it's getting there. Might have to bump some of those feet out. Now, the reason why I wanted to look at the foot here is that we're going to be producing something along the front here getting some deformation. But before I want to do that, I want to add in the detail that's necessary for when we are going to be deforming the feet. So just turn off my proportional fall off tool for now. Because there's going to be a big crease right here, like you can imagine a bone that comes down here to the middle of the foot and then a bone that's going to come out to the toe, we're going to need enough information here to allow this boot to crease in a very convincing way, even though we're looking at something that's fairly cartoony. Now, the way I've gone ahead and revised these vertices, which will be available in the model that you'll be able to download at the end of this tutorial, I now have loops that are a lot more consistent and are more easily editable. And so what we're going to be doing is just going to be adding a little information just by using my knife tool to these areas here, and then adding one loop right here near the toe to come back here, because this is where the tongue of the bootstrap is going to start. But while I'm here around the foot, I'm going to add a little extra info to here. I might throw in a little bit of a extra crease there. Drop that down there. Drop that, pull that up there. Drag that up there. Now all this information goes to get a nice looking kind of a boot. And already there's a little bit of a crease right there where we know we're going to be needing one. Now, because of this model sort of in the way, I'm going to move this to another layer, maybe layer 4, and go over to layer 4. So I've just got the boots to work on. These are looking a little bit like clown shoes. So I might throw on my proportional edit tool one more time. Grab this. Using my numpad 2, I can move down there. And try to get these more like a work mini kind of a boot. Yeah, look, I'm sort of happy with that. Alrighty, so now let's get to detailing these boots. First thing is that there's going to be a knee strap where the tongue is going to disappear up into it. And so first things first, let's get a loop in there to symbolize this knee strap. Okay, so we're in vertices. And we can take off the proportional for a little while. Since you guys are really helpful with sending out tips, I should be able to do this myself, but if anyone's got a shortcut key for switching from proportional to unproportional, why not tell me about it? Using the power there of the internet. Okay, I'm just going to increase the crease there. And yeah, I'm liking that already. Let's get into face mode there, and let's get that sort of nice looking. Let's see what it looks like from the back. Now to reach the back, if you're looking at your numpads, numpad 1 goes into front view, but if you hold down control, numpad 1, you get the flip reverse of what you need to be looking at. Okay, so I'm going to go into vertices here. This will need a little bit of smoothing out because we want a nice smooth shin pad here. There's a big sort of a bump there. Smooth that down into there. Okay. Control tab, go into faces, and we might sort of just make it one. Yeah. Undo. There we go. Or should we go down one further? That could look kind of nice. Yes, still not great. So let's tighten this in a little bit. Okay. Select. Check it in back view. Yeah, that's looking nice. Okay, so in side view over here, extrude, E key, region, along the normal, in a little bit. Maybe scale that down just a touch. Extrude, region, click, S for scale, scale that in a little bit, extrude, region, along the normal, out again, much like we did with the thighs, and so we've got this nice detailing here.